posture today. So I want you just to stand naturally, as if you were kind of waiting in a queue, a bit bored, and we're just going to feel how different neutral posture feels to just our normal posture. So you might find that your shoulders are slightly forward, really common at the moment, a little bit tight around the chest, bottom sticks out, a bit lordotic there, massive arch in the lower back, and then we're going to correct it to neutral. So what I want you to do is have a look down at the feet, make sure they're in the number 11, so feet parallel, hip width apart. We're going to soften through the knees, so the knees aren't locked. If you're a bit unsure, lock your knees and then just unlock your knees. And then we're going to move up to the pelvis, and we're going to do a couple of pelvic tilts. So you might find that you're anterior tilted like I am, and my bottom sticks out a little bit. We're going to start to tuck that tailbone under between the legs, slightly engaging through the glutes, and then rocking forwards again, back to that anterior tilt, and then squeezing tailbone under. So again, imagine it like a bucket of water, anterior tilt, we're tipping water out the front, posterior tilt, water tips out the back. We want to find that nice balance where the hip bones are level, water would remain still in the bucket, so it's a slight tilt of the tailbone underneath the legs. We're going to draw up through the pelvic floor, so about a 30% contraction, not a real tight squeeze, just a slight contraction there, just tightening up through the core, and then we're going to crown of the head towards the ceiling, so nice and tall through the spine. Now I want you to just roll the shoulders up, down, and back. So nice big shoulder rolls there, just loosening off through the shoulders. And then we're going to start to slide those shoulder blades down and back. So that's our neutral posture. So everything works better from neutral posture. That's why I always bang on about it. So crown of the head towards the ceiling. We're going to bring the arms up towards the ceiling, taking it out into full body stretch. Trying to not let the ribs flare out. Sorry, I'm just going to admit Jemima into the meeting. So what I mean by that is that we don't want to be overly extending. When the ribs pop out of the body, the ribs need to remain inside the body, so the core's switched on, ribs are quite close towards the hips. Hi Jemima. So nice full body stretch there. We're then going to bring the hands down to the side of the head into our salute position and work some side bending now. So what we do is take an inhale breath in the centre. As we exhale, we're going to bend through to the side. So nice side bend stretch, and concentrate on this top elbow reaching up towards the ceiling. So think lots of length into the side of the body there. And then we're going to exhale, coming back to centre. Inhale in the centre, exhale down to the stretch, reaching this elbow up towards the ceiling. So really lengthening through the side of the waist there. And then exhale it back to centre. So we're going to speed things up a little bit here. So we're just going to drop. Nice little side bend stretch there. So working the spine slightly differently to just flexion and extension. We're concentrating on laterally moving down. And that's it. And back up. So it's also a nice stretch. We're also working the obliques. If you want to feel a little bit more working the obliques, we're going to come back to centre and bring the arms overhead. So just increasing the lever length and then taking it down. So feeling that stretch. And as we exhale, we're using the obliques to draw the rib back towards the hip. So let's just do a few more on each side. And back. So imagine we're sandwiched between two walls. Try not to lean in forwards or lean backwards. Let's go for two more to each side. So stretching through the oblique there, then exhale, working, bringing us back into the centre. Lovely. Let's do one more to each side. Perfect. And last one. And back to centre. I'll let you relax the arms down there, give the arms a little bit of a shake out before we work some rotation into the spine. So again, neutral spine, tailbone is tucked under, bucket of water nice and still in that pelvis. We're going to bring the hands up again into our salute position. Inhaling in the center, we're going to exhale and rotate, keeping the elbows out nice and wide so we can't see them. And then bring it back into center, keeping that core nice and strong. Ribs stay within the body, so don't flare the ribs out. And back to center. So let's just do a few more of these. Just really warming up through the spine. Let's go for 2 more to each side. Again, you can bring the arms up, increase that lever length, making the core work a little bit harder. And last ones. And last one. So there, we've gone lateral, we've gone rotation, we're going to work a little bit of extension now. So again, I want you to really focus on this pelvis here. So bucket of water, tailbone slightly tucked under. I really want you to concentrate on keeping that pelvis in neutral. We're going to bring the hands again to the side of the head. Take an inhale breath. As we exhale, we're just going to take the gaze up towards the ceiling. Elbows stay out nice and wide. Core stays nice and switched on. Take 2 nice deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, and then on the next exhale breath, sliding the ribs back down towards the hips. Let's go again. Take an inhale breath to prepare. As we exhale, take the gaze up. Couple of nice deep breaths here. Try not to let the ribs pop out. Keeping everything tight around the core. And then back to center, ribs back to hips. Let's go for 2 more reps. Exhale, take that gaze up towards the ceiling. Elbows stay out, nice and wide. Collarbone stays nice and wide. And exhale it back to center. Last ones. This is strengthening the upper back. Gaze takes it up towards the ceiling. 2 breaths, nice deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Last one. And exhale, relaxing the arms down to the side. So you should have felt that slightly across the shoulders there. Give the arms a little bit of a shake out. Now we're going to work with some flexion, have a nice deep back stretch, or stretching all of the posterior chain actually. So we're going to bring the hands behind the head for this one. Take an inhale breath at the top. As we exhale, we're going to bring the chin towards the chest. We're going to roll it down. So chin comes towards the chest, and then just start to peel that spine down. Almost imagine you're peeling the spine away from the brick wall. Feeling that really nice stretch down the spine. And at the bottom, we're just going to flop. You can relax the arms here now. Just allow the arms to dangle. Allow the head to dangle. Give the head a little nod, yes. Little shake, no. Switch those neck muscles off, nice and smooth on the back of the neck. Take a nice deep inhale breath. As we exhale, see if you can go a little bit deeper into that stretch. Nice deep breath, really breathing into the bottom and side of the lungs. And then on the next exhale breath, we're going to rebuild the spine. So take an inhale breath to prepare. As we exhale, we're going to focus on peeling the tummy away from the thighs, really pushing up into the back as we come back up and back out. Working that C curve, rolling back up, restack the vertebrae, one at a time. Coming back to center, coming back to our neutral, so tailbones tucked under, shoulders down and back. Now we're going to work the hip flexors and a little bit of balance. Don't mind if you want to hold on to a wall here, but bringing the hands into prayer position. I like to step off my mat for this one as well. So again, knees nice and soft. We're just going to work simple leg raise. So what we want you to focus on here is keeping the hips level. We're going to just lift the right leg up into tabletop position. So knee raise to hip level, and then tap the toe back down onto the floor. Exhale, lift, keeping that left knee nice and soft. Inhale, tap. If you wanted to hold on to something here, that's absolutely fine. So really working that right hip flexor. Tap. Let's go for 3 more. Exhale, lift. Ooh. Inhale, lower. Challenge the balance, keeping that core switched on as well. And the last one. We're going to stop in a leg raise. And then we're going to slightly bend through the left knee here. This isn't a very good example here, I'm sorry, I'm wobbling around all over the place. Into a one-legged squat. So going far as you can without losing that balance. Let's go for 3 more on this side. Right hip flexor should be nicely working there to keep that leg raised. Last 2. Whoa. And 1. And back to center, popping that leg back down to the floor. Give the legs a little bit of a shake out there. We'll do exactly the same on the other side. Get my socks off, see if that helps. Balance isn't my strong point in Pilates. So hands into prayer. Nice soft knee. Transfer the weight over to the right knee now. We're going to start with that leg raise. So left knee comes up to hip level. And then just tap the toe back down onto the floor. So it's just a lift. We're just kissing the floor, trying to keep those hips nice and level. Let's go for 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to stop in that leg raise and then just slightly bend through that right leg. If you wanted to hold onto the wall there, you can do. We're just going to warm up through that right quad. Still working this left hip flexor. That's it. And last one. And then back to center, popping both feet down onto the floor. We're going to come back towards the end of our mats and take it down onto the floor. We're going to roll it down. So again, nice neutral posture to begin with, shoulders down and back. Inhale, breath here. As we exhale, chin comes towards the chest and we start to roll the spine down. 1 vertebrae at a time. Really stretching out through that posterior chain. So you should feel a nice stretch into the calves, the hamstrings, the spine, and just relaxing at the bottom. Now I want you to really bend through the knees to the point where we can get the hands flat to the floor. Relaxing through the neck, so no twists in the back of the neck. We're just going to bend through the knees and then straighten out through the legs, keeping the hands flat to the floor. So don't worry if you can't get the legs straight at all here. We're just working on a nice little hamstring stretch. So lifting the bottom up towards the ceiling, keeping those hands flat to the mat. So don't worry about how straight the legs are here. We're just going down and up. Let's go for 3 more. Last 2. And last 1. And then straightening out through the legs to the point we're still keeping hands flat to the floor. We're going to walk it out onto all fours. So just walking halfway down the mat, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And then we're just going to pay a bit of attention again to the breath here. So pushing the floor away with the hands, the shoulders are engaged. Nice deep inhale breath on the exhale breath. Really draw up through the pelvic floor, squeezing the tummy button up towards the spine. And then inhale, relax. So it's an exhale, everything tightens through the powerhouse, the core muscles, and relax. Keeping that spine in neutral, so lots of length from the crown of the head down to the tailbone. And then we're going to switch that core on. Core stays on now. We're going to work shoulders. We're going to start with the right shoulder. So all I want you to do here is like a dissected Superman. We're going to slide the right hand towards the end of the mat so it's fully extended. Keeping the spine in neutral, keeping the torso as still as we can. We're going to exhale as we lift the arm up without those ribs popping out. And inhale, replace the fingers back down to the floor. And then exhale, raise. So by doing this, you're really isolating the shoulder here. Exhale, lift. Don't worry if the hand's not coming or arm's not coming all the way up to the side of the head. Just go at your level. It doesn't matter how high the lift is. We don't want to be taking it beyond the shoulder anyway. So you should start to feel that working that right shoulder, making sure that core stays nice and strong. So no movement through the rest of the body. Let's go for 3. Exhale as we lift. 2. Last one. 1. We're going to bring the arm level with the head if we can, as high as we can without the ribs popping out. And we're going to pulse at the top for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the hand back down. And then just sit back into the heels, give the arms a little bit of a shake off. So you should have felt that across the right shoulder, back of the right shoulder, which is often quite lengthened muscle because we spend so much time in flexion that back muscles get really lengthened and weak. So we're going to do exactly the same on the other side now. So give the wrist a little bit of a circle, going back into our all fours position. So we're really isolating the left shoulder this time. So core switched on, pelvic floor's lifted. We're going to slide that left hand towards the end of the mat. Take an inhale breath to prepare here. As we exhale, no movement from the rest of the body. It's just the arm that's lifting up from the floor. And then inhale as we return. Lovely, Judith. Exhale, raise. Over under. And inhale, lower. That looks good. So what we don't want to see here is any arching of the spine as we're raising up with the arm. Everything stays nice and still apart from the arm that's moving. So the rest of the body is still working to stabilize. Let's go for 4 more. Exhale, lift. 3. 2. We're also still working that right shoulder as well. And then 1. We're going to keep the arm up as high as we can without the ribs popping out. And we're going to pulse it for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Brilliant. Put the hands back down to the floor. Have a sit back into the heels. Walk the hands forward. Get that really nice stretch down the spine, down the arms. Have a quick breather. And then we're going to just wake up the glutes next. So coming back onto all fours again, we're going to bring the weight down onto the elbows. The elbows are directly underneath the shoulders. I'm going to take an inhale breath, again core switched on, pelvic floor lifted, hips and shoulders stay stacked, facing the floor, sorry, not stacked, square to the floor. We're going to slide the right foot, fully extend that right leg, engage with that right quad, and we're going to exhale, raise the leg up, level with the body, squeezing that right glute, and inhale, lower that down. Kiss the floor with the toe, exhale, squeeze. The work's coming from that right glute here. Hips stay nice and still. And lower. Let's go for 4. Don't let the tummy relax. Keep that corset nice and tight. 3, 2, and the last one, we're going to keep that leg up. Really wake up that glute. We're going to pulse at the top for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knee down underneath the hip. Have a little sit back into the heels. Lengthen the glute back out again. Nice deep breathing into the back and the side of the lungs. Really stretch out across the rib cage there as well before we work the other side. So again, back up into the elbows, elbows directly underneath the shoulder. So almost push the floor away with the elbows. We're going to fully extend that left leg without the hips dipping, without that back arching. So keeping core switched on, keeping that nice neutral spine. Inhale, breath here. Exhale, squeeze from that left glute. And inhale, lower. Exhale, squeeze. Really engage through the left quad here as well. Keep that leg nice and straight. Let's go for 4 more. Try not to let the shoulders creep up. Try to keep those hips as still as we can. 3. Lovely. Nice done. 2. And last one. Leg stays up, level with the body. We're going to pulse it for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And bring the knee back underneath the hip. Again, have a little sit back into the heels. Take some nice deep breaths. And then we're going to flip round onto our backs and work the core. We're also going to work hip flexors and really focus on trying to keep that neutral spine in this position. So we're going to work in neutral to begin with, if we can. So what I mean by that is that the hip bones and the pubic bones are level. There is a slight little gap between the back and the mat. So what we want you to do here again, ribs inside the body, we're going to slide the ribs down towards the hips without pushing the lower back down into the floor. We're going to bring the feet together now and work some hips and leg sways. So what we want you to focus on, almost trying to draw the hip bones together. I know it's physically impossible, but that's what I want you to focus on. So hip bones stay facing the ceiling. We're just going to allow the right knee to fall out to the side. So core's really switched on here. Don't let the hip dip. And then exhale as we bring the leg back up to center. We're going to go down with the other side now. So inhale as the leg drops out to the side. You can see what I'm doing here. Look at the angle. So it's a constant. So basically, think about drawing those 2 hip bones together, really engaging through the core there. So working really deep core muscles that wrap around the spine. Exhale, squeeze up to center. Just keep that going. That's it, perfectly good. Really focus on pelvic placement here. So really working deep inside the core. That looks good. Let's go for 1 more to each side. So almost try to squeeze the hip bones together as the leg comes back up to center. Last one. Inhale, let the knee fall out, but with control, without that hip dipping. Exhale, back to center. Lovely. And then we're going to work a few pelvic tilts. So we're in neutral at the moment. We're then going to push the lower back down into the floor rather. So the pubic bone's higher than the hip bone. So working deep core muscles again, and then back to imprint. So it's just again, like we were doing when we were standing up, but we're lying down. So squeeze as we're rocking that pelvis forwards and backwards. Let's just do a couple more. And then we're going to go back to neutral again. So hip bones and the pubic bone level. There's a slight arch in that lower back. So you can almost slide a letter underneath the lower spine. We're then just going to part the feet. So the feet are again hip width apart. We're going to work with some leg slides now. So engaging through the core, ribs inside the body. We're going to lift the right foot up from the floor and then lengthen that right leg away. Making sure the distance between the ribs and the hips don't change, and then bring that right leg back into tabletop position.
So we're just really working that transverse muscle, the muscle that wraps around the spine. So really lengthen that right leg away and then bring it back to tabletop position. Try not to let the ribs pop up, keeping that tummy nice and flat. So we're only working right leg at the moment. We're going to inhale as we lengthen, so really reach, engage through that right quad. And exhale, bring the leg back to tabletop position, pop the foot back down to the floor. Work the same on the other side now, so just slightly lifting the left foot up from the floor. Inhale breath as we lengthen through the leg, engage through that quad, don't let the hips move about, and then exhale, bring the leg back into tabletop. So it's like a leg slide, reach and back without no movement from the hip there. Taking it back to basics. Let's go. 2 more on this side. And last one. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tabletop. And then pop the foot back down to the floor. Then again, keeping neutral. So distance between ribs and the hips stay the same. They shouldn't move. We're going to bring the first leg up into tabletop position. And then we're going to go with the second leg up to tabletop position. So core's working really hard to keep that neutral spine. If it's feeling it in the lower back, revert to imprint. So push that lower back down into the floor. We're going to work level 1 scissors here. So we're just going to toe tap. Keeping that 90-degree bend behind the knee. That looks good. Lovely. Just tapping the toe down. And then back up to tabletop. Really warming up through that transverse muscle. Nice exaggerated exhale breath. Always exhaling on the work. Inhale, lower. Exhale. Back up. Let's work 2 more to each side. And the last ones. And back to tabletop. And then just popping both 1 foot at a time down onto the floor. So feet stay hip width apart. Imagine we're balancing 2 glasses of water on the knee. We're going to come back to our salute position now. So hands to the side of the head. Take an inhale breath. As we exhale, we're coming up, chin towards the chest. We're going to lift the spine, top of the spine up from the floor. See if we can get all of the shoulder blade up from the floor. Inhale, breath here. And then exhale, place head and shoulders back down. Control it back down. So it's inhale, breath. Exhale, lift. Inhale, hold. And exhale it back down. Let's keep it going. So exhale, lift. Shoulder blades come up from the floor. Elbows stay out nice and wide. So we should be able to see the elbows. Let's do 2 more. So this is concentrating on upper abdominals. Inhale, hold, lovely. Exhale it back down. Looks nice. On this next one, we're going to hold it up. Exhale, coming up. If you want to, at this point, pop the hands behind the head to support the weight of the head. You can do, so the neck doesn't fatigue. And then we're going to exhale, coming up an inch, down an inch. So we're staying up an inch, down an inch. Let's go for 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Let's hold it for 3, 2, 1, and lower it back down to the floor. Well done. Let's have a quick breather there. We'll do a bit more hip flexor work. So now getting back into neutral position, we're going to keep the head down on the floor this time, bringing the arms up towards the ceiling. So anchor those shoulders down into the floor. We're going to exhale, first leg up into tabletop position, and then coming up with the second leg. What I want you to do now is point the right toe up towards the ceiling, straightening out through that right leg, and then keeping that neutral spine, we're going to lower down towards the floor, keeping spine in neutral. Don't go too far if you feel the spine lifting, and then back up towards the ceiling and back into tabletop position. We're going to do the same on the other side now. So left leg straightens out, and then we're going to lower that straightened leg down. Don't worry if we haven't got fully straight legs here either. You can keep a nice soft bend if you need to. And back to tabletop. So we're straightening one leg then the other, lowering, lifting, and back to tabletop position. If you're feeling it in the lower back, imprint. So really pushing the back down into the floor. Just don't allow that spine to lift. And back. Let's keep it going. See how you're getting on. That's it. So it's lovely. That's perfect. And then we're going to finish on this one. So lower, raise, and back to tabletop position. Well done. Then we're going to work scissors. So I want you to lengthen both legs up towards the ceiling. We can always revert back to level one scissors with the knee bend if you like. So legs as straight as we can. We're then going to bring the head and shoulders up, reach into the outside of the shins, and allow one leg to fall down towards the floor. Control down, and then switch. So we've worked up to level 3 scissors. And if this is too much for you, head and shoulders come back down and work with the bent knee, toe taps. Just work at your level. If it's too much, with level 3, just feels nice to have that little stretch into the hamstrings there. Nice deep breaths. That looks really good. Lovely, Linda. Nice, Dawn. Perfect, Jemima. Yeah, all looks really good. So I've taken you quite sneakily there up to level 3 scissors. We've worked up to it. Let's go for one more on each side. Nice deep breath. And then bring those head and shoulders down. Hug the knees in towards the chest. Have a little roll around on that lower back. Then we'll give the core a little rest. So we're going to bring the feet down to the floor. We're going to work shoulder bridge next now. So back to glutes again. And articulating through the spine. So feet are hip width apart, feet a little bit closer to the bottom than normal, so the heels directly underneath the knee. Arms up towards the ceiling again. Anchor those shoulders down into the floor. So we're in neutral spine at the moment. We're going to exhale, imprint the spine, so really push that lower back down into the floor before we start to peel the spine up from the mat. Creating a nice straight slope. So the tailbone should be slightly tucked under, glutes engaged at the top, pushing those hips up towards the ceiling. So we shouldn't be on the neck here, we should still be able to lift the head up from the floor. Take an inhale breath at the top, and as we exhale, I want you to think about lengthening the spine down along the mat as we bring the vertebrae back down to the floor, one at a time. And then back to neutral at the bottom, slight gap into that lower, underneath that lower back. So inhale breath, exhale, start to imprint, pubic bone lifts up and spine peels off. Squeeze those hips up towards the ceiling. Nice straight slope there from the knee to the shoulder. Inhale breath, exhale again, controlling it all back down, one vertebrae at a time. Let's keep it going. Inhale, breath. Exhale, tilt and peel. Squeeze those hips up. Squeeze the glutes at the top. Inhale, breath. Exhale it back. Ribs should still be kept inside the body, so the ribs shouldn't be popping out. Inhale, breath. We're going to stay at the top of this next one. Imagine we're balancing a glass of water again on the kneecap, so we don't want the knees going out to the side or in. And then we're going to keep the ribs inside the body and bring the arms to just behind the head. Don't worry if they don't go all the way down to the floor. And then exhale the arms back up towards the ceiling, making sure those ribs don't pop out. Let's go for 2 more reps of this. Inhale it back. Keep those ribs in. Exhale. Bring those arms up. Last one. Weight should be through the heels here. Take an inhale breath and then exhale, coming back down with the spine, 1 vertebrae at a time. And last time, take an inhale breath, we're peeling back up into bridge. Squeeze those hips up towards the ceiling. This time, arms are going to come out level with the shoulders. So focus on the arms traveling at the same speed. And then exhale as we bring the arms back up towards the ceiling. Inhale, arms come out, lovely, nice Jemima. Exhale. And the last one. Exhale, bring those arms back up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to really soften through the elbows, bring the arms behind the head. Take an inhale breath, and as we exhale, with the arms staying behind the head, just start to place the spine, lengthen the spine down along the floor. Nice release at the bottom. And then lift that spine up from the floor. Get a nice stretch into those abdominals there as well. And then pushing the spine back into the floor, grabbing hold of 1 knee at a time, and just bring the knees out, almost as if you're trying to bring the knees up towards the shoulders. Get a really nice stretch into the glutes there. Have a little rock from side to side. What time are we on? I always go so fast this class. Bring the feet back down to the floor. 1 more core exercise before we move on to onto glutes again. So we're going to bring the legs 1 at a time up into tabletop position. You can work in neutral if you like this one, or imprint. Safest option to imprint. Hands come to the side of the knees. We're going to work double leg stretch now. So I want you to inhale. We're going to bring the arms behind the head. The feet get up towards the ceiling. Really engage through the quads there. And then exhale, bring the arms round to the side, back to start position. So inhale, lengthen, reach with the arms, reach with the legs. Exhale, bring the arms back around, rotate to the side. If you want to make this a little bit harder, make the legs go out at about 45 degrees, keeping that spine in neutral or imprint. If you want to work a little bit harder, again, bring those shoulder blades up from the floor. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring it round. Take it at your level, lovely. Looks good. Nice, Francis. Inhale, reach with the arms, reach with the legs. Exhale, rotate back around to the start. Let's go for 4 more. Lovely, Dawn. Last 2. And last one. Really focus on the stretch there, engage through the quads, and exhale it back to that start position. Hugging the knees in towards the chest. Have a little roll around on that lower back. Relax the abdominals. And then we're going to come down into side lying. So we're going to work glutes now, inside lying. So coming down to the side, we can pop the head into the hand, ideally onto the arm, but I can't see my laptop if I do that. So core's still going to be working. We're going to lift that waist up from the floor. So imagine we've got big Malteser underneath there that we don't want to melt. So the length between rib and hip on both sides the same, spine's nice and straight. Feet should be in line with the tailbone. So imagine we've got a brick wall behind us. Spine's on the brick wall, soles of the feet on the brick wall. We're going to start with clam. So making sure those hips stay stacked. We're going to lift, keeping the heels together. We're going to externally rotate that top leg without rolling back on that hip and lower back down. So it's exhale, lift, inhale, control back down. So don't just collapse back down. That's it, keep it going. Perfect. So this one's working side of the bottom. Just squeeze those heels together as well. The more we squeeze the heels together, the more we're going to lift that pelvic floor as well, making it a bit more of a workout. Let's go for 3 more clams. Make sure the waist hasn't fallen into the floor. Last 2. And last one, legs going to stay up. We're then going to elevate the clam. So what we need to do here, take an inhale breath as we exhale, we're going to elevate the feet just to the top of the hip level and then inhale, lowering back down, keeping in that open clam position. So it's a lift and lower, keeping those heels together. Perfect, nice, Jemima. Making sure we've not rolled back on the hip here. We're going to go for 4 more of these. 3, 2, and then we're going to stay up into that elevated clam position. Keeping this top leg where it is, we're going to allow the bottom leg to rest down to the floor. So we're still externally rotated, and then we're going to exhale, lengthen, and then inhale, bring it back. So the top of the foot should be facing the ceiling. You should start feeling some heat there into the glute. Let's go for 3 more. 1. This isn't very nice, is it? 2. And last one, 3. Leg stays extended. We're going to do some very small circles here. For 3, 2, 1, take the circles back in the opposite directions. The circles are being drawn in front of us. 2 and 1. And then bending back through the knee, bringing the knees together. Give the bottom a really good rub there. Well done. I always feel so evil making you do these exercises. And then we're going to come up into seated. So last week we worked a bit of a modified saw, which we're going to do again. So we're going to sit in the middle of your mats, nice and high on the sit bones. Bent knees, feet to the floor. So the spine's working nice and hard just to keep straight, crown of the head towards the ceiling. Again, we're going to come into a salute position with the hands and work some rotation first to warm up through the spine. So we're going to exhale through, rotate, and then inhale it back to center. Exhale through. Try not to collapse forwards. Inhale it back to center. So 1 more on each side. And last one. So now we're going to work on modified saw. So I want you to rotate through, and then I want you to bring the elbow down to the inside of the knee if we can, and just rotate a little bit further, using the knee there for leverage, and then back, and then unrotate back to center. I don't even think that's the word. Exhale through, elbow towards knee. See if we can go a little bit further, and then restack the spine, and then back to center. So rotate, elbow knee tap. If that's enough, just do the little tap there, back to center, rotate, tap, restack, and back to center. Lovely. That's it, keep it going. Let's go for one more on each side. Nice done. And last one. Restack. And then back to center, well done. Bring the arms down to the side, give those arms a really good shake out. That's a lot of being in that salute position. We're then going to work other glutes, so coming down onto our other side, into our plank position again. So feet against an imaginary brick wall and spine. Engaging through the core, so lift the waist up from the mat. Rib and hip distance on both sides should be the same. So we're starting with simple clam. So keeping the hips stacked, so we're not rolling back. Keeping the heels together, squeeze together. That's it. Let's go for 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to come up into our high climb. Then we're going to elevate the feet. So up, keeping this top leg at the top of the climb, and then lower. Making sure we're not melting that big Malteser, and lower. So legs still externally rotated. The top of the foot should be facing the ceiling. Let's go for 3 more. Exhale, making sure do not roll back on those hips. 2, and 1. Leg stays up. We're going to relax the bottom leg down and work that extension. So reach, engage with that quad, and then bend back through the knee. Keeping the legs as wide as we can. Really strengthening and isolating that glute there. Glute med on this side. Last 3. 2. And last one. Reach. And then we're going to circle. For 3, 2, 1. And back. 3, 2, 1. And bend back through the knee and bring the knees together again. Give the bottom a little rub there as well. Well done. And then we'll just do a little bit of work with our roll-ups to end with, and then have a nice stretch. So coming down, up, down to the bottom of your mat, so we've got enough room to roll back. Feet hip width apart. Keep a bend in the knee for now, so nice and tall through the spine at the top. Arms out level with the shoulders. Inhale, breath. Exhale, work that pelvic tilt first onto the back of the sit bones, and then bring the spine 1 vertebrae at a time down to the floor. Bring the arms behind the head without letting the hip ribs flare, and then back up and back up into our roll up. Lifting the spine up from the floor. Extend at the top, so nice and tall. Tilt. Coming down to that point. If you can't get all the way down, that's fine. Just stop at that sticking point and come back up and extend. So it might not be that you're coming all the way down onto the spine here. So if you struggle, just stop where you know that you'll be able to get back up, and then come back up and lengthen. Keeping those knees hip width apart. Extending at the top. Let's go for 4 more. Keep those shoulders down and back. Try not to reach forward with the shoulders. Last 2. Last 1. Exhale. We're coming all the way down this time, because we're going to take it out into full body stretch at the bottom. Arms come behind the head, legs lengthen out, lift the spine up from the floor here, stretch out those abdominals, take some nice deep breaths. And then we're going to come back onto our sides and just to work a rotational stretch. So we're going to bring the shoulders stacked. If you've got pillows or cushions for this one, just to make yourself more comfortable, pop one underneath your head, perhaps pop one in between the knees. I've got to bring me over, so I have to make do. So head's relaxed down, neck's relaxed, arms are in front, level with the shoulders. Take a nice inhale breath first. As we exhale, we're going to lift and lengthen the arm up and over. Try to sweep the ceiling on the way past and aim to get those shoulder blades as close to the floor as we can, keeping the gaze to this arm, hands that just moved across. And then we're just going to bring that arm up towards the ear, keeping the arm as close to the floor as we can and back out level with the shoulder. So it's like we're doing a big wave there. Ooh. My shoulders are really crunchy. And then we're going to bring the arm back out level with the shoulder again, keeping the arm as close to the floor as we can. Take an inhale breath as we exhale. Really lift and lengthen through the arm as it travels back over. Bringing the hands back together again. Hands are together. Inhale breath, exhale. Slide the hands along the floor as far away as we can, getting that nice stretch into that underneath shoulder there. Relax into that stretch. And then bring the hands back together again. We're going to roll it onto our backs and just stretch the glutes out. So coming down to the spine again. What I want you to do here is bring the right foot over the left knee and then just bring that right knee out to the side. That might be enough of a stretch for you. If not, bring the left leg up into tabletop position. Grab hold of the right foot though, so it takes the pressure off that left hip flexor. So we're not pushing the leg away. You should feel a nice stretch into the glute. If you want to deepen that stretch again, lift the spine up from the floor. So push the back up from the mat. You should feel a bit of a deeper stretch there into the glute. And just hold it there. So we're just holding these stretches at the end for a little bit longer, just to try to develop the flexibility. And then before bringing the leg back down, push the spine back down to the floor first, pop that leg back down to the floor. We're going to do exactly the same on the other side now. So pop that right foot down, left foot comes over, push that left knee out to the side. If that's enough for you, that's fine. If not, bring that right leg up into tabletop position. Grab hold of that left foot though, so we're not pushing into that right hip flexor. And then again, if you want to increase the stretch, lift the spine up from the floor, create a gap there underneath that lower back. Feel that nice stretch into the bottom. Let's hold it again for 3, 2, 1. Push the spine down first before we bring that leg back down so we don't hurt that lower back, and then bring that foot back down to the floor. We're going to do the same stretch again from that sideline position, so just working the other side this time, so either feet in the opposite direction or face away from the camera. Pop your cushion underneath your head if you've got one, or in between the knees to make yourself comfortable. So arms out in front, shoulders stacked, hips stacked. Take an inhale breath first. And then as we exhale, we're bringing the arm, lengthening through the arm, bringing it up and over, really opening up the chest. And bringing the arms as close to the floor as we can, feeling that rotation through the spine, and then bring that arm that's just travelled across up towards the ear. Get a really nice stretch into the shoulder there, and then back out level with the shoulder. So keeping the arm as close to the floor as we can. Moving it nice and slowly. And then bringing that arm back out, level with the shoulder again. Take an inhale breath. Using the core, we're going to pull ourselves back up and over. Sweep the ceiling on the way past. Bring those hands back together. Take a breath in, and then as we exhale, slide the hands along the floor as far away as we can, relaxing the head, relaxing the neck. And then bringing the hands back together again. Well done. Coming onto our fronts now. I'm going to stretch out with a nice cobra stretch. So down those abdominals. So just bringing the feet out a little bit wider than the mat. Relaxing the bottom. Hands either underneath the shoulders or just in front of the shoulders. Fingers spread. Take an inhale breath, and as we exhale, just push into the palm of the hand. Push the floor away. Keep those shoulders down and back. Feel that stretch down front of the body. And then we're just going to slightly lower it down first, and we're going to come up onto our knees. So really engage through the core there. Be careful of that lower back as we push up onto the knees, sitting back between the heels this time. And just really lowering that upper body down into the floor. And then just walk the hands towards you. We're going to come up into a standing kneel now. So popping the knees underneath the hips. Just take a step forward with the right foot. So the heels underneath the knee. We're going to tuck that tailbone under. You should feel that left hip flexor stretch. Take it up with the arms into a full body stretch. Reach to the ceiling, bring the arms down to the side of the body. And it's the only time I'll ever ask you to do this, but just slouch. You should feel a really nice deep pull there into that left hip. Shouldn't be telling you to slouch as a Pilates instructor, should I? And relax, well done. Same on the other side. So you just should feel it's quite short anyways, the hip flexor. Sometimes you don't want to overstretch it. So heel either directly into the knee or just in front of. Inhale, breath to exhale. Really squeeze that tailbone between the legs. You should instantly feel that right stretch into the hip flexor. Arms reach up towards the ceiling. And then bring the arms down to the side, keeping that tailbone tucked under and slouching to that one. And release, well done. Coming down to all fours now, knees underneath the hips, wrists underneath the shoulders. We're going to take it up into a modified downward dog now. So just bring the toes underneath. We're going to come up into a little knee hover, and then keeping a bend in the knees, we're just going to push the head through the arms. Feel that nice stretch down the back. Nice stretch into the calves there. And then just walk the hands back towards the feet. Again, keeping the feet flat, hands flat to the floor, so there'll be a slight bend in the knee there. Just bend through those knees and then try and straighten them. We can remove the hands from the floor now, going into our flock position, relaxing through head, neck and shoulders. Nice deep breath here. And then on the next exhale breath, we're going to rebuild the spine. So draw the tummy away from the thighs, pushing up into the back as we roll back up. Re-step, rolling back out. And at the top, back to our neutral position, tailbone tucked under, shoulder roll down and back. Hopefully it shouldn't feel as foreign to you as it did at the beginning of the class, because we've worked all the muscles.